Let me get me. Yeah, you know what? We gonna keep it like that, man. Hey, it is the end of 2025. And for those that's been rocking with the show, been very supportive, I appreciate y'all from the bottom of my heart. Okay? It's your boy Trillionaire Chuck. Let's get into it. I mean, we got a lot to talk about, y'all. We got Anthony Joshua, who just reminded the internet that boxing is not cosplay. The Bears punched their way into the playoffs. Draymond and Steve Kerr get into it on the sideline. Like they got into a real heated debate. It was crazy. And that tells you everything about pressure, loyalty, and expiration dates. Now, you know, we save the best for last, relationship talk. By the way, y'all, it's your host, Trillionaire Chuck. And yes, this is Heartbeat Arena, unfiltered sports and unfiltered life. Let's cook, y'all. So, let's talk about the Anthony Joshua and Jake Paul fight. Anthony Joshua knocks out Jake Paul. All right, let's just talk facts. Okay, first, Anthony Joshua stopped Jake Paul in the sixth round, y'all. In the sixth round, I had money that it would actually go the distance. It would be a unanimous decision. And then I had a majority decision, right? And for those that don't know, like a unanimous decision is basically like where the judges, all the three judges score it for one person versus the majority decision is where two judges will score for one person and then the third judge will score for the opposite. So, like, let's say Anthony Joshua had 10-10 and Jake Paul had a 10, right? And that would kind of be a majority decision. Unanimous would have been Anthony Joshua, one judge scored 10, second judge, Anthony Joshua scored 10, and then the third judge, Anthony Joshua scored 10, right? That's kind of how I went. Lost both. Should have put that it would have been a knockout, but hey, I thought that it was going to, extend out a little bit longer than it should have been. All right. But this wasn't even close, y'all. This wasn't controversial, right? This wasn't YouTube boxing. This is what we all have been looking for. Joshua dropped him twice before the final shot. Paul left the ring with a broken jaw. That's confirmed by Associated Press and the medical team on site, right? Joshua, he showed ring patience, distance control, timing, power that's been real, right? The fight went exactly how boxing people said it would, not how the internet hoped it would, right? So let's just break it down even further, right? Jake Paul does a lot of talking, right? Well, Anthony Joshua does a lot of hitting. Talking don't stop punches, right? And listen, y'all, this is how relationships work too. Think about it. Confidence without foundation gets exposed. Hype without discipline gets embarrassed, right? Love without action gets knocked out. And that's exactly what happened to Jake Paul. He got knocked out by Anthony Joshua. Now, moving along, the Chicago Bears make the playoffs. Woo! Y'all better stop talking about my Bears. Leave my Bears alone now. I told y'all, okay? Now let's talk about something that's real. The Chicago Bears clinched a playoff spot for the first time since 2020, right? That's confirmed by NBC Sports Chicago and Reuters, right? This team been catching jokes for years, right? You all heard the jokes. New quarterback, new system, new leadership, right? And instead of folding, they stack wins, right? Now, here's some stats for y'all. Here's some facts. The Bears, right, have the top 10 defense in points allowed after week 10. Okay? They have positive turnover margins, and they are able to win close games late, right? That's growth. Okay. Now, to make it in like layman's terms, okay, the Bears used to lose games. They should win. I would get frustrated as a Bears fan seeing this, right? Now they win games they used to lose. Okay. Same thing applies in relationships, right, y'all? Like, that's kind of like how a healthy relationship look, right? It ain't perfect. It's never perfect. I say it again. Healthy relationships, they're never perfect, okay? Not by a long shot. They just keep improving. They keep improving over time, right? If y'all keep losing the same arguments, the same way every year, you're not growing. You're just recycling, right? And that's kind of like how the Bears was. They kept losing games, because of a trash offensive line. Then it was coaching, right? It was never the Bears defense. It was those things. They kept losing the same way every single year. And then finally, what happened? Okay, got a new quarterback, right? Got a new head coach. We worked on the line a bit. We stacked plays that suited for our quarterback. Okay. Again, we just kept improving. That's what the Detroit Lions did. They slowly worked on their offense. They slowly built their line, and they kept improving. That's how they went far. Now look at the Bears, right? There are talks about Caleb Williams taking the team to the Super Bowl now, right? I mean, let's just be honest. The Lions are out of it. Okay. Now we have a perfect chance to actually go. Am I pushing the button that far? I'm not. I'm just glad we are in the playoffs. What I say, I want the Bears to make the playoffs. That's all I want. Let's make the playoffs. And we're finally finna do it. And it feels so good, y'all. But let's move further to the Draymond Green and Steve Kerr sideline blow up, right? Now, this one matters, okay? Draymond Green and Steve Kerr got into it on the sideline, y'all. Draymond gets ejected. I mean, what else is new? Draymond is always getting ejected, right? I think he beat Rasheed Wallace and getting kicked out the games throughout his NBA career, right? Words were exchanged. Body language was loud. Like, people sensed the tension, the frustration, right? This is reported by ESPN and San Francisco Chronicle, right? Now, let's be clear, okay? They're not strangers, right? And this ain't no new beef, okay? This is years of history under pressure, right? Now, what this really means and what it tells me is this, okay? Championship equity buys you grace, but not forever. I mean, we seen him with the Jordan Poole situation with Draymond, right? We seen that. He knocked Jordan Poole out, right? Draymond's antics was tolerated for so long, but it's like, how can you say something as an organization when you're winning, right? That's why nobody really never stepped to Draymond or tried to tell Draymond, hey man, you need to stop. Like, Steph is not going to do it. Clay damn sure didn't do it. And even when Kevin Durant was on that team, he might have tried, but you saw how that kind of went in a sense, right? Draymond is like the enforcer of the team. He's the vocal point, the heartbeat of the team, and he's the leader of the team. Even though his numbers may not speak that he's the leader, he shows it in other ways, right? But now, Draymond's value to the Warriors, I mean, his emotional, defensive, vocal, as I just stated, but the margin of error is shrinking, right? And everything feels heavier. And I'm pretty sure it's a couple people on the team that's kind of sick of his antics. And now rumor has it that Draymond wants to be traded. I think it's just a rumor, right? And on the show, we really don't entertain rumors, right? We bring the facts, right? We give it to you raw, of course. But I honestly believe like this is the time where the Warriors, they can't tolerate them antics anymore because it's not helping them win games, right? Now, this is what happens when, again, like in the relationship, this is what happens when one person thinks history should carry the relationship, right? The other one's current behavior and past wins don't excuse present problems. And right now, they have a present problem. Draymond's antics. Okay, they have to stop because it's not helping the team win at all. Okay, now let's get into the final segment of the show. Relationship, right? This one, I mean, I think we close the year out with this topic for relationship talk. A few people came and asked me this. I get my inbox flooded. By the way, I'm going to start dropping my email link. So if you all have questions that you want to ask privately that you don't want the world to know, by all means, you can do that. All right. Trillionaire Chuck is here for you, right? But here's the question. Well, here's the topic. When your partner shuts down instead of showing up, right? So some of y'all are kind of like, well, shut down. What does that got to do with relationships, right? Well, I'm going to talk to you about it. So we're going to talk couples, right? This is not aimed at women, men. This is couples, okay? Because some of y'all don't argue, right? Which is good. I'm a firm believer in not arguing, heated debates. We can talk calmly amongst each other like human beings, okay? You don't yell, which is good, and you don't fight. Cool. And when we say fight, we talk that type of fight, like that type of fighting, right? But you shut down, and that's worse because when your partner shuts down, that is the worst thing that can happen, right? So the truth is backed by research, of course. According to Gottman Institute and Journal of Social and Personal Relationships, stonewalling, which is what they call an emotional shutdown, they call it stonewalling, right, is one of the top predictors of relationship failures, right? It spikes stress, anxiety, and resentment in the partner being ignored. Okay. And so what shutdown really is not peace. It's avoidance. You're running. That's coward. That's what cowards do. They run. They don't face the fire. They rather run from it. Right? Well, why do they run? Well, it's simple. Avoidance. Why do they do it? This is why they do it. Because they don't know how to express the feeling or express themselves in the situation. They don't feel safe being honest, right? Or they rather just disappear than deal with the relationship or deal with what's going on, right? But real talk, y'all, if your partner goes silent for days, avoids tough conversations, acts like nothing happened, that's not maturity. And I'm going to say it again. This is real talk. Ask anybody, ask ChatGPT, you can ask Gemini, any psychiatrist will tell you this, right? If your friends will tell you this, if they're really your friends, they'll tell you this. If your partner goes silent for days, avoids tough conversations, acts like nothing has happened, right? That's not maturity. That's emotional fear. And fear is the one thing that holds people back from hitting their goals, being with that special someone, even becoming successful. Fear, right? So, what should one do about this? Okay, I'm gonna give you 4 things you should do about this. Okay, this is what you all need to do. Okay, going into 2026, ladies and gentlemen, listen. If your partner shuts down a lot, y'all need to do this. That's if y'all still want to be together. Who knows? This is still cuffing. Cuffing season by the time summertime come, half y'all gonna be broken up anyway. That's just what it is, right? Just what it is. But if you want to keep your relationship, if you feel that person is the person for you, right? Here's what you need to do. Number 1, name the shutdown. You're pulling away. What's going on? That's naming the shutdown. Okay. When you address it, you're gonna, that opens up to why the person is feeling the way they're feeling. And this is where you have to just be open, calm, and try to be understanding in that present moment of it happening. Okay. Number 2, create rules for conflict. This is what I mean. No disappearing. No punishment silence, right? Because it's not doing neither one of y'all justice. It's not doing either one of y'all justice being silent, tiptoeing around it. You have to address it head on, okay? Number 3, schedule the hard talks, okay? Ladies and gentlemen, I gotta take the glasses off for this one because when you gotta talk it out. I've been telling y'all since the beginning of starting Heartbeat Arena. The biggest thing in relationships is communication. Okay. You gotta talk. All right. If it's not right then and there, it could be a few days later. But you gotta have that talk. Okay. Love ain't just vibes. Okay. It's not just vibes, it's logistics. You guys have to be understanding. Okay. You can't think your partner's trying to attack you. Okay. If they care about you, because think about that, y'all been dealing with each other. You were together for a reason. It's something that you saw in each other. Okay. Have that hard talk. Okay. So serious, right? Not even joking. You got to have the talk with your partner. Okay. Otherwise, your relationship is not going to work. And I mean that it's not going to work. Okay. Number 4, understand this truth. Write it down. Love doesn't die from arguments. It dies from avoidance. That space, avoiding talking to each other, you get less interested, and then the love goes away. And then now it's just, well, it was because sometimes avoiding, they think that's safe and it's not safe. Because, people ask questions, well, what happened with such and such? And then people create their own narratives instead of just being honest. Love doesn't die from the arguments, okay? It dies from avoidance, okay? I can't stress that enough, y'all. So, Anthony Joshua showed the difference between hype and preparation, right? The Bears showed what patience looks like, okay? Draymond and Kerr, well, they show what happened when pressure meets history, okay? And in relationships, if your partner shuts down instead of showing up, That's the fight you gotta address, okay? Because silence ain't peace. It's a warning, okay? But it's your boy Trillionaire Chuck here. Always reminding you to keep it real, both in life and in love. Oh, since it's the end of the year, y'all, make sure you hit that subscribe button, okay? And we're going to catch you next time at Heartbeat Arena, all right? Remember, stay sharp, stay honest, stay real. And I'm out.